So what happens after college? Like, were you showing work in college? Like, how do you go from being a student to being an artist full time, or was that just happening all along?
In school, I didn't feel like I got a lot of attention in school, which was fine. I don't really care for attention as a person. You know what I mean? I'd rather people look at the work. And I didn't think people looked at the work that much either until I started posting on Instagram more consistently. Then other people saw it. So they saw that See Me sculpture. He's like big guy, grills, he's pulling his mouth apart. I made that in 2016.
Oh,
that
wow.
was that's the first grills piece I made. And they didn't like it in class. They like critiqued it really harshly. And they were like, yeah, but they didn't want to listen to the story behind it.
Wait a second. So in the class, the other students had to critique your work?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. It's art school, yeah.
Oh, I didn't go to art school.
Oh, yeah.
I went to school for Spanish. That was my major, yeah. I'm very, like, black and white with things. So I was studying psychology, and I felt like it was just too many abstract theories. So I was like, I just need something like, when I leave here, I know how to do this. So I was like, I'm going to be a translator.
That's why you busted out in Spanish just now.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? I was like, wait, who's in the hall? I was like, I know that's right. I'm not even mad.
I learned that in school and in the streets. You know, nobody in my family speaks Spanish. So it's just something I learned.
I need to be more like you.
Same. I need to be like you.
No. I need to learn another language. I told you I took Latin. Thinking it was going to help me out with my SATs, and it didn't.
Wait till they get a load of this.
You notice I took Latin for like 4 years. Why did I do that?
You know, as I tell my daughter, I'm like, you want to learn French? Don't nobody in America speak French? It ain't that
but
big yet.
If she goes across seas, she'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
At least. Yeah. Where am I going to speak Latin?
You're not.
I couldn't tell you a Latin phrase right now. I could not tell you.
It might help with the art history, but that might, you know.
It doesn't even help with that. It doesn't even help with that. Why did that was like a waste. Like, why did I do that? Sorry, to go back to your question. What was your question?
Oh, so really I wanted to know about like...
from school to...
Yeah. So you were telling me that they critique your work in the school. So that's a part of it. And then when you started to post online. Yeah.
So I actually started to post online, but I had maybe like... I mainly had shows in school, but I had maybe like one show out of school. And then when my senior year, the head of the ceramics department sent me off to my first residency, which was Haystack. And I didn't realize it was a residency. I thought they just took me to like a conference or something. Mm-hmm. They selected me, and I was like, wow, thank you. And they paid for me to go. And I didn't realize that was my first residency until like literally recently. I was like, oh snap, like that was a residency. Anyways, so I actually graduated college, and at my thesis show, I met this lady. She loved my work. She wanted to buy one of my pieces. This is when my pieces were like very, very low in price. And she bought one of my pieces, and then I dropped it off to her studio. And she makes t-shirts, right? It's Mess in a Bottle, right? Is the company. She makes t-shirts, black owned. She's from Brooklyn, I think she's from Brooklyn, and she moved to Baltimore. So when I dropped the piece off at the studio, she was like, yeah, like let me know if you like, you know, need a job or want to work. And I was like, I need a job. I just graduated, I need a job, right? So I was pressing t-shirts in 2018, pressing t-shirts with her, kind of learning about business under her a little bit. Really sweet lady, love her. And her business was taking off. It's still taking off. It's doing very well. Like she was selling in Target. Like she shows at festivals all the time. I be seeing people wear her shirt sometimes, and I'm like, dang, I probably pressed that. You don't even know. My hands touch that. Like,
it's an original.
No, for real. And I always told her, I was just like, look, like this is just a job so I can pay my bills. Like she always knew I wanted to be an artist full time. That's my goal. And she was very understanding. She knows that. And eventually after a year, I was like, okay, girl, I think it's time for me to go. But at this time, I was making smaller pieces and selling them on my website, like just as a product. Mm-hmm. And my goal was to sell like 2 or 3 a month was my goal, because then that means all my bills are paid and I'm fine, right? And that was just, I'm not trying to like make millions. I'm just trying to like be at peace. You know what I mean? But even now, like, I just want to be at peace. Like, I'm just, that's the goal. And I started I would go to work, press t-shirts all day, which is actually, it can be exhausting. Come back home and work. At this time, I just got my own apartment for the first time because I had always been living with roommates. I came from a house of like 6 people and like 7 cats. I also have a cat. So everybody had a cat. And one person had like 2 cats. I don't know. But from there, I moved into my first like big girl apartment by myself. I had that job. And then I was actually making work in my kitchen. I was making these ceramic pieces in my kitchen. Before that, I was making ceramic pieces in my basement with my homegirl, because we shared the space. But now I'm making work in my kitchen. I come home, I'd work for a couple hours, clean up, push everything to the side, cook, watch The Office, eat, go to bed, wake up, do it again. I would do that every single day. And even on the weekends, I would still work all day. And I would sell these pieces 2 to 3 a month. I started actually hitting that goal. And I told her, I was like, okay, girl, I think it's time. And she's like, all right, fine, right? Like a month later, she was like, can you just please just like come in like twice a week, Twice a week turned into a full week, and started working there again, which was fine. We love money. You know what I mean? Eventually I was like, okay, girl, for real this time, I'm about to dip. And she was like, I respect it. Do what you got to do. So I did. Me and her, we still stay in contact. She'll come to a show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see her around. She's doing amazing. And I love her. And that's when I became full-time. So I started selling the little sculptures 3 times a week. And then I started posting them all the time. People would see them, buy them. I would talk to people, have emails. I like to have a lot of conversations with people. As you can see, I'm yapping. And my homie hit me to introduce me to a curator who enjoyed my work. She's in there.
Oh, okay.
She enjoyed my work and asked me to be in a show in Sweden. And that was my first show across seas. Wow. And that kind of trickled down to everything else.